got a pretty big bunch of people today. I just gathered you guys all here today because you're interning with the Ajayan Lab over the summer. Most of you guys have been here for at least a month-ish. Pierre is new. Not new to Rice, but new to the lab atmosphere. But he's joining us today so that we can kind of share what experiences have been had. And hopefully you can kind of get something out of it before you start. It might help you. How about you guys kind of do a little intro of yourself? Yeah, we can start with the most.
Gentlemen first.
Oh, okay, so I guess we'll start with Pierre. Name what year you are in school, what school, and what you want to study, or your interests.
Yeah.
Go for it, Pierre.
Alright, so I'm Pierre, and I am a rising junior at the Kincaid School. And my interests are in material science and chemistry, specifically in energy storage.
Oh, looks like you're in a good group.
Yeah, perfect group.
And Pierre, you mentioned that your parents were masters here.
They were, yes.
So you're familiar with kind of
the layout of the
layout
university, yeah.
Go for it.
Hey. My name is Israel Gomez. I am an upcoming junior at Texas A&M University. And my major is a mixture of mechanical and electrical engineering. And my interests are usually in the aerospace industry or astral space. So space, rockets, all that fun stuff.
Nice.
I'm Sylvia, and I'm a sophomore. I'm a rising sophomore at Rice. And my major is material science and nanoengineering. And I guess not expertise, but my interest lies in developing biomaterials that are commercially available.
Hi, my name is Aparna. I'm from India. I finished my undergrad in electronics and biomedical engineering from India, Kerala to be specific. So I'm interested in biomaterials, and currently I'm working with Sylvia. Yeah, saying biodegradable, biocompatible biomaterials.
My name is Lisa Alexander. I'm a rising senior in high school at the John Cooper School in The Woodlands, Texas. I'm currently interested in mechanical engineering, maybe aerospace engineering.
Yeah, we'll have some good discussions about that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Well, so we have a mix of undergrads, 2 undergraduates, and 3 high schoolers. How did you guys kind of find out about this program or even get involved?
Well, I mean, I've spent a lot of time on campus, so I kind of thought that this would be a really good place for me to jump in, and especially seeing as you guys took me, and I'm happy to be here.
And awesome. I'm really glad that you are coming now and you're going to be here for a while. Do you think you're going to do undergrad here?
Probably. My sister did as well.
Oh, cool. So you have an older sister.
Welcome to
now.
Rice.
I found out about this because my grandmother actually works in the department.
That's right.
Yeah,
Miss
she-
Maria. She's
Miss
one of
Maria.
my favorite persons.
Yeah, so originally I wanted to do some research. I was hoping to work more in the mechanical area of this university. But then I was looking around, and I came here last year. You remember?
Yeah.
And so I met Ved, and he showed me around, and everyone in the energy lab, like, out of all the labs I went to, y'all were like the most passionate. Y'all cared about what y'all did. I'm like, I'd rather do something new with people that care than just with people who are just there. So I decided to join y'all, expand my horizons a bit.
So Sylvia, I understand that you're in the department already, so it's always nice to do research.
That's very true. But I think one of the reasons why I chose MESNI was because of this research group. Because I was thinking chemistry or chemical engineering. And then I came into this lab realizing that material science does a lot more cool stuff. It has much more applications. And I really like the people here, the stuff that we do. And you have so much control over what you experiment. Here you can make your own variations, which I really thought was inspiring.
That's awesome. How about you?
Yeah. So the reason I came for an internship was I wanted to do my PhD. I want to do my PhD, but I was like very confused on what to do it in. So I knew Professor Ajayan, like he's this big name in Kerala. So I was researching his group. I found out that he's doing work in biomaterials, and also my cousin, she did her PhD here.
Oh.
Oh. She's my cousin. Yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
I interviewed her too.
I saw that.
Oh.
I saw that PhD. Yeah. So I've heard about RISE a lot from her. So I applied, got it.
Oh, that's so incredible.
And I love the group. Like, I'm planning to apply for PhD here next.
Yeah,
So-
please.
yeah. Definitely coming back. Don't worry.
Good. That's awesome.
So I found out that this was one of the labs. I did done a lot of research on different labs that took high school students. So I found this, and I wasn't really sure what nanotechnology or material science really was, but I was ready to jump in and kind of learn as I went. And with Kimai as my mentor, I feel like I've learned so much.
Well, I'm glad you don't have to say that just because I'm here.
You really held my hand and took me through it step by step, and I feel like I've learned so much about the research process.
I'm so glad. It's really good feedback for me. Don't be afraid to tell me things that we can do better though, you know what I mean? Like honestly, because we're still, I'm still in school right now, so there's a lot that I need to learn still. And you will continue to learn things even when you're like 99 years old. You know what I mean? Like you won't stop. Oh, you don't want to stop learning, I guess is what I should say, right? Good stellar group here with a lot of thoughts for the future. And in terms of, I guess this will be a question for the people that have been here. What is the work that you've been doing here?
So I've been working with Abhiji and Dev. We've been working with Shell, working on making a better supercapacitor. So that's kind of been my focus this whole summer I've been here so far. I've also done help with Keiko. I've done bit of help with actually the mechanical engineering department as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
very
good
general.
it's good to kind of get your feet wet a wide array of things early on. I mean, because also it's just as important to figure out what you don't like as much as what you do like, right? You don't want to find that out midway in your career when you're 30. So I guess you and Aparna are very similar in what you guys are working on.
Same project.
Okay. So you're working with one of the postdocs. What months?
I actually continued this project from last year. So when I first joined, what I worked with was egg whites, and then I manipulated. Yeah, exactly, with egg whites to like build some rigid structures, build scaffolds, and now we're working with more commercialable, more easy applications, and even biomedical applications.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We are excited about the biomedical application. We are actually doing a collaboration with Baylor University.
Oh, good. See,
Yeah.
this is a place to do it if you like anything related to the medical side or the space side, honestly.
I was first. I know, right? Be totally stressed.
She asked super hard questions.
Okay.
Anderson.
So Neil has joined our group. When did you start?
Beginning of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what school you went from, maybe what year, and what your
Cam or you
interests
guys?
are?
I'm going into my junior year at Cypress Ridge High School. I love math and science. I like computers also, and this research is a big opportunity for me.
Good. How'd you find out about it?
I did a lot of research. Too much calling.
You
And
guys
someone
do a really
finally
good
said, yeah.
job in high school finding out about these things.
Yeah.
I was more like, what movie am I gonna watch?
Oh my God, same.
No, I researched that also. I researched that also.
Good.
Balance.
Good. So what are you working on right now?
Making, oh my gosh, photoluminescent films, like very thin films. Yeah, they're like different colors, and they can be used in varieties of different situations.
Cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Who's doing that in the group?
It's Mr. Ashok Kumar.
Oh.
Ashok Kumar.
I didn't know he was doing. Cool.
Yeah, he's helping me out with it, and then I'm doing sponges, another project with sponges. I'm doing two projects.
Like MOFs.
Yeah, metal organic frameworks, exactly.
That's so cool.
Well, anyway, we're glad to have you as well as everyone else here.
Thank you.
You've probably met everyone here already, right?
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
everyone.
except for Pierre. Pierre is
Oh yeah,
new.
nice to meet you, man.
Izzy. So.
Yeah, we met yesterday.
Okay,
No,
good.
day before. Yeah, day before yesterday.
Awesome. See, this is what I like about the group. Everyone's pretty well acquainted. pretty early on. So you always have someone to reach out to if you need help or if you have a concern or you need to eat lunch with somebody.
There you go, right? Yeah, right.
So that's awesome. But finally, sorry about that, Lisa. I kind of skipped over you.
Not a problem.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Working on finding a more eco-friendly way to retrieve elements from recycled batteries.
So that's kind of a new thing that our group is trying to work on. So we're just trying to figure out a way to take all of the used batteries that are starting to pile up. Because right now, as you guys know, everything is going to be the Tesla, generation. We're going to have a lot of waste batteries from the Teslas and the laptops and the iPhones at some point, and we already do. All of this is stockpiled somewhere in some warehouse. There are some companies that are doing it already, but everyone's doing it a different way. So I'm stealing your thunder here, but yeah. So Lisa here has been helping me do that. So what has been the greatest challenge that you guys have faced in your research? You knew this was coming. Y'all knew that I was going to ask this. Pierre, what's the greatest challenge that you had?
It's gotta be Izzy.
What?
He was the greatest challenge. Yeah, sorry. So Pierre you've only been here like a few days, so I can't.
2 days, right? It's just 2.
Today's my second day.
Today has been the greatest challenge so far.
Answering these questions.
This question.
I guess we'll start with Neil then. What has been the
Shoot.
hardest thing that you
Realistically, it's been trying to understand like what I'm doing, but I'm starting to learn more and understand what I'm doing. And then just in the lab, it's been zeroing the scale because it never zeroes ever. I have to wait like 20 minutes for it to zero.
Word?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Other than that, it's
In the
all,
chem
all
lab?
good. Your chem lab, horrible.
Okay.
Scale there needs to be replaced.
Eventually.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can understand that as being a
But other than that, it's a good experience. I like it.
Good phrasing.
Now you know what to
So
expect
professional.
here.
Yeah. So I haven't had much trouble with any of the scales, but the hole puncher, on the other hand, has been quite an issue.
Ah, hole
That's been for
puncher.
everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think for me it's kind of overwhelming to be in this new laboratory environment because I'm really being put at the forefront of scientific development here. And
I
as
thought it's a very generous phrase.
as a high school student, it can be a little bit off-putting at first, but I think I'm beginning to acclimate.
That's awesome. It already, so I am excited for what you'll say at the end of this experience. Yeah, we were at the forefront in the beginning, then we got like 10 steps behind. Well, if that's the biggest of your worries, I'm very happy to hear that. How about you, Izzy?
Realistically as well, there's some ideas and materials that I'm still trying to grasp knowledge-wise. So I'm still working on my terms and then what some equipment does, what some of it is useful for. Practical-wise, we have electrodes that are on stainless steel, and we're trying to make perfect circles out of those.
Oh yeah.
And that is the
Fun.
word. Yeah, it's fun in the sense that it's impossible to do. We've tried it in so many ways. Now we've resolved to a hammer and a chisel, pretty much.
Oh, so that's what you were doing. I thought you were like trying to find the next Egyptian mummy.
Oh no.
How about you, Sylvia? What's the greatest challenge so far for you?
I would say like for our films or plastic to settle, it takes a few days, and it's very sad when you like wait a couple days and then see your films break apart. Yeah, that's like heartbreaking. But then also when you get really nice films, then you're like very happy for your baby.
My challenge is like everything here is new. Like what in India, when I did my undergrad, everything was just theory. We didn't have much practical side to this. So whatever I studied in theory, I'm actually doing it here. So it's a challenge getting used to everything, to the lab and everything. And the other thing is, as Neil said, we need to use this hot pressing machine for our samples, for our films. And we don't have it in our building. We have to go to the keg hall every day to hot press it, and we have to wait like one hour at least to get the films hot pressed. That sucks.
Yeah, summertime trip
Good way
too.
to say it.
That sucks.
There was definitely some gaps in my knowledge coming here. I didn't really know what to expect. So I felt a little lost. Like right when I got here, I didn't know too much about the whole battery heavy recycling scene or anything like that.
Most people don't, so
Yeah, yeah. So that was definitely a learning experience, and practically just getting the oil baths at the right temperature.
So for you guys, it was hole punches and wave bounces.
That was not fun.
Ours
Just
are more like
checking every 15
More high
minutes
tech.
to make sure that those few degrees makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, but I'm glad you guys all seem to have more technical difficulties and not so much getting along.
Oh,
with
that's
people.
not.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
that's
people
not
in
bad.
this lab is like very helpful. That's the first thing I noticed different from India. You guys are all willing to help each other like a lot. We never see that in India, at least from where I come from.
There is something to be said about the student happiness, and some of the groups in some of these more prestigious schools do experience a lot of competition, and a lot of times that like within the university. So you'll notice here we're a little bit more open to collaboration, maybe at Rice, but perhaps at other universities. I don't know which ones, but there are talks of like you can't even tell the professor next door what you're doing, right? Because you're afraid of ideas being stolen or stuff like that. So it does depend. Like I'm glad you're finding a good experience at
Like
Rice.
if I ask someone for help, I get it. Like they help me that instant. They don't say like they have work or anything. Like,
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys have like.
I
very
heard that
open
it's something
experience.
special about Professor Ajayan's lab. Actually, like everyone's saying that he gives you your space, he gives you your freedom. It's really nice to work with him.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. Yeah, he does, but sometimes this is also a very personal decision for some people. Some people do need a little bit of a push, and for me, that's where Babu comes in, right? Because I'll be like doing all this stuff with you guys, which is fun for me, but at the same time, I do need to. One of my own challenges is to really focus on the work that we need done and to get your priorities straight. And you guys will get this you'll get this at every stage in your life where what is important right now. And of course your relationships with people are important, but you do need to remember like I'm funded here to do research, so that's I need to make sure that's done. So balancing that is always going to be a challenge first. What's the best thing so far about your research or even about your experience?
I actually have a very good side to this. So like for me, I think Dr. Ajayan allowed me to collaborate with Peter and Dr. Maksud, who like we actually together went on like another project for NSF, and this was like commercializing your lab idea. And then usually some other labs are pretty like not willing to do that because that might kind of take you away from the main focus. But then for me, I think that was actually pretty great, and that was like motivating, and I knew why I had to do this research and to develop this technology in order to accomplish something.
I think the best thing so far has been working with my mentor, Abi. He has taught me two things. He's taught me characteristics, which is patience, which is taking your time and understanding something before you actually start on it. But working-wise, he's taught me how to use all the machines, how to the process in which to start a project and finish it to the end. Even if you run into mistakes and all of that, he's taught me how to keep going. And he's also taught me how to work in the lab in the sense on what terms to use, how to talk to people, how to ask for help. That's one of the big ones because I've needed it.
Yeah.
So
You don't want to wait too long for that.
yeah, I think working with just a good mentor is that was the key thing for me. It taught me so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to ask questions every single minute of the day, of course.
Mhm.
So you do at some point need to be independent and try to figure out a lot of your own. But you guys, the initiative to be here in the first place has already proven that you can do that, right? So but on the other spectrum, don't wait too long because not all your and this is the great thing about research is your answers are not going to be found on Google usually.
Being immersed in this lab environment, I'm learning so much about how to familiarize myself with the equipment, with our methods, how to be as efficient as possible, and how to work forward in an environment where progress is not necessarily in a linear fashion.
I agree with Pierre, just really getting our hands dirty and seeing the applications of everything that we've learned all these years in school, which is something not every high school student gets to experience. I'm just really happy for this overall experience.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you came. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have you helping me. You guys are, indispensable help to your mentors, so don't undervalue that. You're here for a reason. And I'm glad so far, pretty positive experiences. After you conclude this summer, what are your plans?
I have another 2 years of high school, so I just gotta finish 11th grade, 12th grade. I have all my testing stuff, SAT, PSAT. Once I finish that, I think it's just research. I want to continue even during the year. So once I finish all like the big tests, it's like yeah, it's like after I finish all these college tests, once it's all over, I'll come back here and do some more work. And then just do my normal stuff like frisbee and all that thing.
Good.
But, yeah. For the most part, I just want to stay here. It's nice.
I do have 2 years of high school in front of me, and that's going to be a really busy time. But for sure, the laboratory setting is a place where I feel most at home. I can tell already. And I think that that's where I want to set my goals moving forward, is moving towards a lab.
So what I plan to do after this, we're gonna go back to Texas A&M, and I actually might start some undergrad research, but it's gonna be completely different than this. I'm trying to get into virtual reality, augmented reality research.
Oh, geez, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll probably be focusing on that with the engineering basis in front of it. So hopefully, like Tony Stark, all the Iron Man stuff, Jarvis. That's the goal.
Cool.
Yeah, for me, I think I will just continue doing this research because I still know that our technology has a lot to go.
Yeah, bio stuff is a challenge, so you guys will really have to stick with it.
Exactly. There's so many limitations, but I also see so many positive sides when we finally reach that goal.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will take, your technologies in particular will take longer. You'll have to test them on, live systems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then just think about the reward after, right?
Get it right.
Yeah. And even if you don't, I think you would get
Learn
something out of
Yeah.
it.
Are you fun?
GREs. And applying for
Oh
PhD.
gosh, I forgot. That's right. You're at that time. Have fun.
I've already started, but I'm not reaching anywhere with it, so
You have all the books you need, like the study stuff.
seriously concentrate on GREs.
Okay, it'll be okay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, you still should study. So I think the best way to study for that, and this is for any of you guys, SATs, GREs, it's just it sucks, but just practice the actual test. Time it and do it in an environment that simulates what you will actually do. And psychologically, it will help you because you'll be in the mindset, even at the time, right? So if you know you're taking the GRE, you'll probably schedule it at some point. It'll probably be like 10 a.m. or so 9 a.m. on a Saturday, which is not fun, but it is what it is. So time yourself on a Saturday at 9 a.m. in a room that, like there, for example, that will be that cubicle over there. That'll be probably like the way you'll actually take it, and do it more than once, and you'll get used to feeling.
Despair.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Despair.
The general
It's like
despair
the
to
SAT.
take a standardized test.
It's a 5-hour test, right? Almost 5
It's a 5-hour test.
Almost 5 hours.
SATs are longer than 4 hours.
Yeah, they're
SATs are over 4.
Yeah, same idea though. If you guys want to do well on those, the best way is to simply practice the full version test.
Yeah.
And I would say to do it 3 times just for statistical significance because it's fun to compare, but at least once or twice a real session where you sit down and practice the
Yeah,
real
then
thing.
you tell me the same thing. Take a practice test.
It sucks, but yeah,
Just put that on
but it'll
record.
help you.
Yeah.
Because when you take it in the real, in the
Yeah,
real
yeah,
deal, it'll be
yeah.
like, oh, I've done this. I know what it feels like. And everyone else else will be like sweating and like chewing, mint gum. Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a tip.
I love
Mint
it.
gum.
Yeah.
It like stimulates your senses. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Find the
I'll
study.
buy
on
you a
it.
pack of gum before I go.
Thank you.
Finally, Lisa.
So I'm gonna be a senior in high school, so my next like 3 or 4 months is gonna be filled with college applications and deciding where I want to apply, how I want to apply.
Are you gonna apply here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, for sure. I really like it.
Texas system's good though. All the schools, A&M's really good. And a lot of my friends from UF went to A&M. I think at least 4 of them in my my graduating class in material science was like 20 to 30. It was actually quite small for considering UF is around 50,000, right?
Maybe not.
I think their smallest classes at UF once you narrow to your major, usually it's a little bit small.
I like the small classroom setting.
Wait, what are the biggest classes you've had? How many? Like the
For me?
Yeah.
Lecture halls, so general Chem 1, general physics 1. Those were maybe lecture halls of up to 500.
Oh gosh. I
So,
don't even have
for
that.
us, like,
God.
Credit, man. Right.
Yeah,
That's why
but
you
the
get
thing
it.
is, if you can survive that, you can survive anything, right? What are the 2 undergrads in the group are just happen to be in the middle here. You can fight it out if you want. There's A&M, which is what, 40-ish, 40,000, 50?
It's about getting to 50s, yeah.
It's just like UF then.
Yeah.
And Rice is like what we were saying, 5,000 to 7,000.
Yeah.
But Rice is almost like half grad school and half undergrad. How have your experiences been in big school, little school scenarios?
You want to go first? Or?
Yeah, sure. I guess we all know each other. At least we have like seen each other on campus. And another thing is that for Rice, we have residential college systems, so we're all like little families. Whenever you go out for breakfast, you're never alone. And just like wherever you go, you just have friends. So it's very easy to like hang out and not be alone. And you always have like study groups, which is really nice. Like you can choose friends based on your college, which is like your dorm, and also your major.
No, but at A&M, so throughout the 2 years I've been there, I've had like a small group of friends that I've known throughout the whole time. But then every semester, because the classes are so big, you make your friends just for that semester and just for that class. And once the semester's over, it's like, see you guys.
Yeah, new group.
New group, because it's just so big, and keeping up with them and hoping that y'all take the same classes is it's just so rare and hard.
I
Because
see.
there's so many, like say Math 151, which is like Cal 1 over there, Engineering Cal 1, they have, I think they have 50 classes for Cal 1 to choose from, because that's how big, and those
Yeah,
classes,
you have a lot of sections.
You have like
Yeah.
3.
3,
3 is a lot.
Right, other than single digit sections.
Oh yeah.
no, but it's definitely the challenges for a big school is that you really don't have much one-on-one time with the professor, and the professor knows so much. Usually our professors have been in the industry for a while,
Yeah.
so of course I try my best to talk to them, to ask them like, hey, how's the industry, what do you do, oh that's so cool, and half of the stuff they do, more than half, it's really cool. But then since there's only one professor and there's not students, during their office hours there's usually a line of 10 people just waiting to see the professor. So it's really hard sometimes to see, to get that one-on-one time. And then actually learning the material, you basically learn it with who you're sitting around in the class, and then you'll, at least once, twice a week, the TA will host some sessions, but learning from the professor, and it's really,
I can attest to that. So that's why I chose Rice, right? I like both. There's pros and cons, of course, to every side of being in a big school or a small school. I loved UF. I mean, yeah, we have the problems just like Izzy mentioned. Professors are usually overwhelmed because we do have a lot of students, but just like at Rice, a lot of the professors here are incredibly, especially A&M too, have really great histories of things they've done.
Oh yeah.
I think one of my professors that like kind of actually made me more interested in the chemistry chemistry side. I've had a lot of teachers in general that have made me like chemistry, but Dr. Kefauver was my first professor, first class at college ever.
Oh.
I remember 8:30 a.m. Everyone's like sitting in class like 20 minutes early, which
8:30.
never happens, you know.
Oh my god, never.
Only the
Even, like,
first
a
day
minute.
exactly.
It's like
First
you
day
never
of
know
college
that class is
though.
like even hosting, but it's so
Yeah.
empty.
But you know how it is when you're really nervous your first day
Oh, yeah.
in college. And you're like sitting like this, you know, waiting for the teacher to come in. We see this bald guy come in. Like, it's a lecture hall, so that class is maybe around 300 people. It's a lecture, that was Chem
Wow.
1. And like an explosion in the front.
Oh.
And Kefauver was reacting. I forget exactly what his reaction was, but it was one of the coolest things for an entrance for your first class ever to college, right? And he was just an incredible professor. He was a Disney Imagineer. So he
That's
worked.
amazing.
That's
Yeah,
super
he's
cool.
had such a fun. He's like he would tell stories about like what he would do. You know,
That's
when he
really
worked for
cool.
Disney. I guess the pros of a big school are you meet some. There's just so many different people you can meet. Cons obviously are those classes are big and you swim on your own a little bit. I don't think that's a bad thing though. So I'll say that in smaller schools I feel like here you're able to get help probably easier.
Yeah.
But at a big school the advantage to that is that you're forced to learn and teach. It's not that you're teaching yourself, but you're forced to be a little bit more independent sometimes. And I think it is healthy. You're getting that now in research anyway though. But you have to have a lot of initiative to make appointments with your professors if you go to a big school. You know, I honestly have no idea what's going on in lecture. Whatever you were talking about this morning, I completely don't know what you're talking about. And they'll, most of the time, most professors will acknowledge that and help you. But yeah, you might have scenarios where the line outside his door is like 10 students and you'll have to wait for them to go and you'll have maybe 5 minutes to talk to him, right? Because he'll be like, I'm sorry, I really, you know, have class and teaching now, so I have to go. So that's a challenge. In terms of social life, very different. And this is what Rice is very, very interesting about the residential colleges.
Oh yeah.
So you guys use those instead of what we call Greek life.
Exactly.
Yeah, UF, A&M, all the major big schools usually have Greek life, sororities, fraternities, which in theory are meant to be your family. In practice, it depends. And you guys will get that in your residential colleges at Rice, or you'll get it in joining professional societies. And that I don't know about Rice so much because they are.
We're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So I think the bad side, I guess, is that we don't have a lot of alumni, and we don't have just a lot of peers.
That is tough because I do think professional studies are a great way to
I agree.
network. Rice has no shortage of being connected to industries you can work for, of course, but it is nice to have
More.
NESB, if you've heard of that, SWE, there's SACE, the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. NESB's the National Society of Black Engineers, I think. SWE, Society of Women Engineers. All of these national ones have conferences that you can go to, and they're incredible. You should join at least one. I would recommend everyone join at least one national professional society that you're interested in because they will have people that you can connect to and connections for work after you graduate. You can get internships at these conferences. It's really great.
That's really
Time. So let's wrap it up with one last thing. Usually I ask people a kind of a silly question. I think the one I asked Ajayan was like, if you had to pick between Spider-Man and, what was it, Batman? He chose Spider-Man, by the way. If you're wondering.
I picked Spider-Man too.
Okay, then who's your superhero? Who would be your superhero if you could meet in real life?
I don't watch those movies. I guess Spider-Man, maybe.
Who's
I
the
don't-
scientist you would
Oh,
or person, just any person.
Person.
Past, present, future.
Oh, geez, that's a hard
Future?
one.
Oh yeah, sorry, past, present.
Yeah, future.
Myself.
I don't know, probably my aunt. I want to be like her. She like she had lupus when she was small.
What
Then
is
she,
that?
It's an
she was-
autoimmune disease.
there you go. Yeah, autoimmune disease. Yeah, but
Okay.
she was like always on like brink of life and death. But then she ended up going to Wharton Business School and now is like CEO of her company and all that.
That's
So-
such a cool
Yeah.
story.
So that's
Is that the
yeah,
anti-KIP?
and- yeah, she's a member of KIP also, or president or something high up. So
KIP is a school I went to, my middle and high school. So it's a charter school for minorities.
Got it.
Yeah.
yeah, and she's on like the volunteer board. So she's the most successful person I know. One of the
That's
most at least. So.
incredible. That's a really good person to. I mean, you probably already met her, right?
Yeah, she comes over like every Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom cooks for her a lot. Because she makes a lot of Indian food. So
Oh,
and
nice.
my aunt doesn't cook at all. She doesn't like cooking.
She seems a little busy, honestly.
She goes to bed at like 2 a.m. wakes up at like 7
Oh my
and goes to
God.
work and all this thing.
It takes
But-
a very strong person
Yeah.
to devote your life to a career, for
Yeah.
sure.
And she's done it, so.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, we'll have to discuss that probably at a different time.
So, person I would like to really meet if I could, and if we spoke the same language, would be Galileo Galilei.
Ah.
He is very diverse. He wasn't just an astronomer. He focused on the medical field. He was an artist. He was an engineer, an architect. He was so diverse. And the reason I love that is because he was able to make connections between, say, maybe art and biology, or math and like how plants have the mathematical shape.
Fibonacci.
Yeah. He made connections. I don't know if he actually made that connection, but it was a connection like that.
Stuff like that follows.
It's just so I just love that diversity, and
Fluids.
yeah, it was
That's
I'd
cool.
love to meet someone like that.
You know, I don't know if they're the same century, but mine was Leonardo da Vinci. For a similar reason as you. That's why my kids name me Leo someday. Anyway, on the side note, he was like Galilei, an inventor, an artist. Like he did so many different things. It would be so cool to go into these people's minds and just what do they think of every day? Like when you're sitting here, he's probably sitting here thinking about the water transpiring in this water bottle, or how stale those cookies are probably now. You know, artistry too, like the colors and the textures and the sound. You know what I mean?
I mean both, yeah.
They're both incredible pioneers for what they did.
Did you ever watch MythBusters?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Adam Savage. Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, you'd want to meet him,
Yeah, it's nerdy, but yeah, he's so diverse too.
but not Jamie.
I'd love to meet both of them. I would. Yeah.
They're both
That's
they're
like
both
nice.
really cool.
I would want to meet a genie. I think it'd be very nice to get things without effort. Because although the process is wonderful, I feel that things that come without effort is also nice to have.
So I watch a lot of X-Men movies when I was younger, so I'd like to meet Professor X and just get that insight into the human mind and like mind control. That would be really cool.
Am I the last one?
Pardon us.
Perna says she wants to be an announcement.
Okay, so if it can be real or fake, I would meet Lieutenant Commander Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation, who's the first android, which is an artificial life form, and he is his entire story arc is about his quest to become human, because he's created without emotion, but with a functioning mind and the ability to interact with people. And he's very human in some ways, but in others not quite. And I think it would be very interesting to hear his insight and to have a conversation with him.
Wow, I have to look them up. Okay, last but not least.
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm sorry.
No worries. She's a volunteer. Okay. Superhero.
Iron Man. Definitely Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, he's a fun character. Like he knows so much. The way his aspect in life, like he takes everything very easy. He doesn't like get stressed out. I want to know how he does that. He knows so many things, so he keeps us cool in every way. Have you seen the last one?
I didn't see the last one, but
Sure, you want to know about Tony Stark.
No spoilers. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. No
Yes, we
spoilers.
all have to go see it
Yeah,
together.
you'll fall in love with Tony Stark.
Yeah, I heard he's very human. Like
Yeah.
as a superhero, he has flaws that are very,
Mhm.
you know, just like more relatable.
Yeah, yeah.
I only saw how many are there?
Like a lot, right?
There's a-
Avengers,
yeah.
then
So
Captain
the-
America.
There's
Oh,
the
yeah, oh my
Avengers
God, there's so
series,
many.
Captain America
I've not seen the
series,
Captain
Guardians of the
America
Galaxy
series,
series,
but in
Black
front you
Panther.
have
Dark
must
Knight?
watch
No,
that.
That's DC.
Oh.
That's DC.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Aggressive.
I don't know this time. Every time they ask me at school, they're like, who's your favorite superhero in DC? I'll say someone in Marvel. Who's in Marvel? I'll say someone in DC.
I feel ya. I don't know.
There's too many heroes,
I
you know?
mean,
They're all
yeah,
part of the
I mean,
same.
I like them all.
Yeah,
but
exactly. They're all good.
To me, they're all in the same like
League.
world.
Yeah, exactly.
But I gotta say, I do my favorite Spider-Man, but the reason is because he's a school student and he also goes through all the school troubles that we go through.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, because he, even though he's a good student, he still has to deal with like his social life, and he still has to. He's not good at every subject. I've read the comics, I know. But
You guys all had some awesome insight today. I hope you learned something to peer from the peers before you, I guess. I know maybe a little bit more information than you needed to know. And now you know what works in the lab and what doesn't. But thank you guys for spending some time with me. And I hope you guys have a good time for however long we're going to stay. And I'll see you in lab.
thanks for the
Well,
interview.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for
no worries.